The Boston Bruins have made some very crucial line changes ahead of tomorrow's game against the Montreal Canadiens, but at practice today, Jim Montgomery kind of called out the players after their 5-1 loss to the St. Louis Blues, so we're going to be talking about what changes were made and what Jim Montgomery was arguing with the players about in this video here. But before we get into all of this, we notice that 95% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel, so if you're looking for a spot to get all your Bruins news as it happens and as quickly as possible, you're in the right spot. Make sure to hit the sub button and join us along this journey so you don't miss out on any of the major news. But like I said, we're going to go straight into this one here. And Jim Montgomery sort of called out the players in an indirect way today at practice. And this comes out from a tweet from Fluto Shinzawa about the practice today for the Bruins. And he says, Jim Montgomery is using lots of bad language so far in practice. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there saying, yeah, bad language, it's part of hockey, whatever, that doesn't really mean anything. But compared to what we've seen at the end of practice from videos today from himself, as well as, the Boston Twitter account, this is definitely us pointing towards, the play that they had against St. Louis has to change. They cannot keep this up if they want to make a deep playoff run, if they want to get ready for the playoffs early. A 5-1 loss against the St. Louis Blues is something that should not happen, especially for a team like the Boston Bruins, where they are right now, and especially where they need a bit more drive than they have the past few seasons, as they have a bit of, I would say, a weaker lineup. Not in the sense of being any worse than they were, but just they don't have the size, they don't have that too much grit anymore compared to what they have. So they really need to work on these games, start dogging them out if they actually want to get some really solid wins, and keep that level of confidence and level of energy high throughout this season. So completely understandable by Jim Montgomery. I like that he's getting on these players and keeping on them to make sure that even though there's a lot of young guys on this team, there's a lot of rookies, a lot of younger players in their first few seasons. They got to keep this energy up that they did at the start of the season right until the end. You can't start dying down a bit. You can't start easing your way into a lazier game at this point in the season. Now is when you have to pick up your pace, get ready to the playoffs. They're coming soon, and the Bruins definitely need to be as sharp as possible going into these playoffs here. But that game against St. Louis, I think that that won't happen again. I think that was an abnormality for the Bruins. We didn't really see anything click. That was one major issue that that happened. They should have. I would say they should have won. I really no question against St. Louis Blues, a team that's not really as competitive as they want to be. The Bruins definitely should have won that game, and they're going to be coming out hard against Montreal in the next game tomorrow on Thursday. And they've made some pretty big roster changes, lineup changes. What you would want to say ahead of this game tomorrow. A lot due to an illness that seems to be going around the locker room, starting with Brandon Carlo, now going to Matt Grzelcyk, and someone, I'll have a screenshot here. Matt Grzelcyk and JVR under the weather today and off the ice from John Haggerty. Grzelcyk is not making the road trip. Andrew Peeke is going to be making his Bruins debut tomorrow night against the Montreal Canadiens. That is coming from Jim Montgomery. And JVR is traveling, just not playing in tomorrow's game. So obviously, this is a pretty interesting change to see here, what they will do. We have some lines from practice today too. I'll kind of take a look at what the offense will be like, but I'm very excited to see Andrew Peeke tomorrow, what he's going to do in this lineup. He spoke out about, making this lineup, getting back to, ready to compete, an original six matchup. He's really excited for this game, which I'm excited to see what he can do against the Montreal Canadiens. But we have another pretty big update on this line as well, as that, or on the defense side as well, as that Lindholm is back. Hampus Lindholm, after missing a little while due to injury, is back in this lineup. Mason Lohrei taking the first line defense pairing with Charlie McAvoy. Another very exciting look that we will see here. Kevin Shattenkirk is being the seventh defenseman here in practice. Whether that continues to be the case heading into the game tomorrow, it seems to be, as Andrew Peeke is taking the spot. I don't see him replacing Charlie McAvoy or Brandon Carlo. So another pretty big update there on the defense. A different looking from what we've seen the past few games, last week or so. Matt Grzelcyk, the injury or this illness, I do apologize, seems to be running through. So hopefully this is where it stops at. We don't really want to see any more players get hurt or injured or sick at this point in the season. You want everybody to be able to compete at 100% going for here. But I'll put these lines up again. As you can see, no James Van Riemsdyk there. Johnny Beecher, who was called up yesterday, is back into the lineup. An odd choice to put him on the fourth line left wing, one of the better face-off guys on this team, and not playing center. I think that might change. Hopefully that will change ahead of tomorrow's game. Everybody, when Johnny Beecher was called up, was super excited to see what he can do at the faceoff dot, can do, get back into the lineup. And he actually had some stuff to say about his return to the lineup. This is what he had to say in an interview with the media after practice. He says, Johnny Beecher, I'm being back with the Bruins. Nobody wants to leave their teammates or the team they're with for the whole first part of the season, but a lot of good can come out of it. I was able to go down to Providence, get back my game, and get some confidence, which is an absolute excellent thing that we need to see Johnny Beecher do. He had a bit of a slower start to the season. You can see here, 7 points in 39 games. Started to heat up again in the AHL, 8 points in 17 games. So hopefully that energy that he got in the AHL, that bit of confidence back, will definitely carry over into the NHL, and hopefully he can get his stride back. We want to see him in the NHL. We want to see, him take that roster spot, fill up that center depth, especially how good he is at the center, at the faceoff dot, and something that the Bruins are definitely missing out on at the moment. So, it is very interesting, I guess you could say, why they're playing him on left wing. They've acknowledged themselves, the Bruins, and, fans even know that he's one of the better face-off guys that this organization has, and putting him on the wing is a bit of an interesting move. The reply to that tweet as well from Fluto Gonzalo, where he's putting up this one here with the practice lines, just about every reply was, why is Johnny Beecher not at the center dot? One move that leads to another, so maybe they're trying something different. Doesn't mean he can't take a face-off on the wing. Never know when someone gets kicked out of the face-off, penalty kill, power play, whatnot. But I'm excited to see what this game comes out of tomorrow. A pretty different lineup. Once again, I'll pull this up here, and you can pause, take a look at this if you want, or I'll leave it up here for a few minutes while I'm talking. But it's going to be interesting to see what we can get with Brazeau as well, Justin Brazeau. A guy who was playing a bit of fourth and third line the past, few weeks since he's been called up. He's been playing well. I gotta say that. I really like the way he's played. He played in my hometown team, the Newfoundland Growlers, a couple of years ago. So excited to see him in the NHL. A guy that I really enjoyed watching here. So I'd just like to see, him start to stay consistent in the NHL, I guess you can say, and find a nice home for his career. It just like that when we have a player here. But once again, this lineup's going to be pretty different from what we've seen. A pretty big change, a big update from the recent game against St. Louis, where they did lose. I don't want to talk about that too much because that is very depressing. But you can also see down here on their space bar that this is kind of the box score for that game, if you were wondering what that's for. But that's pretty much updated with standings or from the most recent game, depending on whatever it is. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this game holds tomorrow. I think that the Bruins and Jim Montgomery are definitely going to turn this second game of their not back-to-back, but their recent games around. Don't want to lose to the Montreal Canadiens in this case. It's going to be a very good game, I suspect. So, I'll be here to keep you guys updated with all of the news that we got here. A pretty slow news day today. Just a lot of, internal NHL stuff that's changed around, but, we're going to be keeping updates. There's going to be a lot more news to come over these next few days and weeks as we head into the playoffs, and you won't want to miss any of it. So make sure to hit the sub button. You'll be kept up to date with everything here from the Boston Bruins. As it comes out, I'll try and get it out as quick as possible just to keep you guys updated. But that's all I got for this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to give it a like. Make sure to hit the sub button as well. Like I said, if you don't want to miss out on any of the Boston Bruins news. But that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.